You're listening to the Hibs Talk podcast. With the transfer window opening on Friday, we decided to pitch what we would do in the transfer window. Who we'd let go, who we'd bring in, would we sell him again in order to get Scott Allen, for example, from Celtic, or would we sell him to an English club to get the money? Would we look to keep him? Would we look to use this bigger budget to keep Dylan McGeoch? All these questions. Canberra back or new strikers? We kind of go through all these scenarios and kind of play out, if we were Neil Lennon, how would we approach this window? Then we're going to pitch which idea do you like best. First you're going to hear myself, Dave and Stephen pitch our ideas, then I'll go through the details of how you can win a free flag from Casual Attires, and then Murray phones in to pitch his idea. Hello and welcome to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gavin. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
And Stephen.
Hello.
Bit weird having the gang back together. It feels like it's been a while. I mean, it's sort of, we've had people stepping in for either one of yous, and it feels like it's been a while since it's just been the three of us.
Everyone's probably enjoyed it a lot more. To be fair,
the quality's gone up a bit.
Yeah, folk are like, oh, it's just day 3 again. Turn it off.
Right, so all of our news stories have been covered in a video that you can find on YouTube. Just search via our social medias or search Hibs Talk on YouTube. But let's get into this with Leanne Dempster first, after coming out and talking about how big the budget is going to be. So what was your thoughts on Leanne's interview, guys?
It was really good, and it was quite interesting to see that she commented on the whole fallout after the Hearts game, said that everything was fine, and then obviously going on about having this been the biggest budget that a Hibs manager's been given. So
what's your both guys' thoughts on, or how excited are you about the possibility, and how much do you look into that? How much do you believe that, I guess, about it being the biggest budget? I mean, Stephen, you were talking before we started recording about John O'Neill being on £6,000 a week and stuff like that, and Dela Cruz, Soze, Latipi, all that sort of stuff. The wage budget must have been massive then. I kind of refuse to believe that this is going to be bigger.
The thing is though, like back then there was a lot more money in Scottish football. Like you had two teams automatically pretty much going into the group stage of the Champions League when you like Rangers and Celtic were dominating like every single year. It's just not like that anymore. There's a lot less money in Scottish football. So if they're saying that it'll be the biggest budget, it might spend £1 million on a player, but it will only be extortionate. Like it'll probably put us in level terms with, I'd say, Aberdeen and their spending in terms of wages and transfers.
I definitely think it is round about wages. We will not spend £1 million on a player.
That's what I'd like to see though. I'd like to see more money being spent in the wage budget as opposed to transfer budget.
So you're both interpreting what Leanne means with the budget there differently. So I mean, I'll let you both play that out differently in how you approach the transfer window when we're discussing our target. So before we start going around everybody, the confirmed outs, although Stephen did debate this one, Dylan McGeoch has came to the end of his contract. Stephen did make the case that he's still got another 2 days left in his contract.
It's 3 days. It's
3
Tuesday.
days.
Friday.
Cammy Bell has been released after coming to the end of his contract. Reyes' loan has ended. Barker's loans ended. Scott Allen's, McLaren's and Canberra's all loans as well ending. So quite a few players either need to be brought back in or new players need to be recruited in their place. So quite a building job. So with them already out, going round, who would you be looking to get off the books this summer?
It's obviously a tough question because you're out and I mean one of the players that you're meant to be like supporting.
Yeah.
But fuck it, we're fans, we can talk about that type of thing. I'd probably say that I think Stephen Whittaker's past the sell-by date, unless he kind of went more into the kind of Kevin Thompson, Kevin Thompson was on the bench quite a lot and maybe like went doing the helping like coaching. I maybe wouldn't mind that as much, but I think he'll probably be on a no bad wage. So that would kind of free us up a bit, but he did sign quite a long contract, did he not?
3-year deal, so 2 years left in his contract.
So I kind of see that happening. Obviously Danny Swanson's not been given a brilliant chance, so I would say his time's probably up. Again, maybe no, I don't necessarily agree with that though, because I think Oh, you're his biggest fan, Gav. You love it when he comes on. He does add a wee bit of spark in that to proceedings.
He is on my list as well.
Is he on your list? Aye. See, none of them are that nice, but at the end of the day, like, we want to see the club like progressing, and I think I just think Swanson he's not going to be that player.
He's 31 now, and I think with the players we've got coming in that position, I don't think he can help take us to the next level. So yeah, that's why I've got him and Whittaker as the two players I'd turn around and tell they're free to find another club. So you don't have to release them, but you can, if someone else offers them a wage, we'll not bother with a transfer fee.
Yep,
and
let
them go.
I'd be looking to maybe no give as much game time, but still play like a leading role, but I'd probably play McGregor less in less games.
Right.
And start to...
So not sell him, but...
No, maybe not play as much, because I do think he became a wee bit mistake prone at the end there, and then the fact that he didn't start the last game against Rangers because he obviously had a nightmare against Hearts, like most players did to be fair, shows that...
So do you think Porteous is now ahead of him, or do you want to come back to a sign in a minute?
No, it's Porteous I would bring in, but again, I would just maybe play McGregor a wee bit less, like kind of rotate it a bit more,
right?
Than just have. But then you get the whole thing, like your centre half pair needs to be solid and play together all the time. So just depends what way you look at it. There's quite a few different.
Stephen, any players you're looking to release or tell them they're free to find another club or transfer list?
Tell Whittaker to f*** off. No. See, I don't really want to say this because everybody's got to hate his, but everybody does anyway. So, I think Gray's going. I actually think that Gray's going.
I came close to writing Gray down,
and it's purely the fact that the last 2 seasons he's been far too injury prone. I mean, Lennon tossed and turned about McGeoch going last season after his injuries. There was a lot of doubt about whether he'd stay. Gray, obviously, there's a sentimental value. Is always got to be a legend, but at the same time, I mean, I rated Fontaine, and he fell down the pecking order. I think Gray started 6 times this season, if that. And I can't see him staying there. There's, especially when you're playing 3-5-2 as well. If anything, we'll bring in another wing back to rotate with Boyle. But
I wrote down 2 right backs, and I didn't say about letting go David Gray, but like, kind of part of me knew that's what that meant. But I couldn't bring myself to writing down letting David Gray go. But just with injuries, it is a bit of a concern. And
the thing is, he's pushing 30 as well.
Right, and Stevenson's testimonial last season, he was found out quite a bit defensively. So
the thing is, he's always good in big games. Like, you look at him when he plays against Rangers, when he played the game against Brøndby in that last year, 2 years ago. Like, he's a good player, but he's a bit part player. Like, I wouldn't start him every week. There's no way that I would start him every week.
I would start him every week if he could get a run of games and he was like, being fit.
But you look
I like the idea of keeping him though as a club captain.
The thing
and
is,
having him as a bit part player.
You look at him. You look at the team last season, and where would they fit into it?
True.
I know, but then you seen us struggling, and then us putting Whittaker at right back, and that's where he would fit into it. Because if he was fit, he would have played in front of Whittaker.
But at the same time, though, you're wanting Porteous to start coming through, and it was because
Porteous is not right back though.
No, but he would fit into centre back, and you put Ambrose right back.
No, but Ambrose is as a right back or a right centre back. He's definitely not a right wing back. That's one step too far, I think. But anyway, we're going off topic a bit. So next bit is about is there any players that you would sell? Is there any players that you would take advantage of the interest in them? So running through some players we've had interest in, according to the rumours anyway. John McGinn, Leeds and Celtic have been linked with him along with Sunderland. We have heard about Dundee United, and there was another Scottish club, I can't remember who, being interested in Simon Murray. Also, Marciano. I can't remember what they're called. The team from Israel.
Maccabi Tel Aviv.
There you go. Well done, Dave. And Effie Ambrose, a team from the Far East. So all rumours, but is there any of them that you would be looking to sell?
Unless we use this big wage budget, because this is what I'm going to talk about in a bit, on upping Cian McGinn a cracking offer so we get a good sell-on clause for him, then I would sell McGinn now, because I cannot think anything worse than letting him go for nothing and signing a pre-contract with somebody in January. Or even just getting like a petty wee minimal fee like we did with Jason Cummins. It's not what I want to happen. So I'd probably say punt McGinn now. Out of that list, who else was there?
Well, there was Simon Murray.
I probably wouldn't bring back Simon Murray, because I think we need to move on. He does try hard in that, but we look at how much we improved after he left and we brought in McLaren, Canberra and that. So I just think if we want to progress as a club, I think that's the type of, we don't need a player that, he didn't exactly shine at Dundee. You know what I mean?
Stephen?
I would disagree about Simon Murray, and it's purely the fact that I was saying this to you earlier. Like he's a similar player to McLaren, and I mean he scored 14 goals for us in the first half of the season, where he went off the boil and then he got dropped for Stokes. The way that we were playing the second half of the season with two up front, I can pretty much guarantee now that we've got Canberra. If you play Murray alongside him, I think he'll do the same job as McLaren. He's got goals in him. I understand where Dave's coming about going back the way, because obviously we put him on loan, and there's a couple of strikers that I would bring in anyway. But if we brought in a top class striker, you've already got Shaw there. I'd maybe keep Murray just for the sake of the bench.
I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I think there could be the possibility that Neil Lennon knew that he had to give up something to get Scott Allen in, and he knew how important Scott Allen was, or getting somebody in that number 10 position was. And I mean, we were screaming out for it in the podcast, we called it, and he thought, I can get by with just Ollie Shaw on the bench as a striker, and then you've got obviously Lewis Allen there as well. I think if ideally for a bigger squad, I think he would have liked the option of having Ollie Shaw and Simon Murray on the bench, and I think he would like that option for this season as well. That's that, because I think he's got a lot of faith in Simon Murray, and I think he did go off the ball and kind of need to be dropped a bit, and maybe need better talent ahead of him rather than being the main man. But I think Neil Lennon really believes in him, so I think he could be an impact player off the bench.
I think the ball bounces off him quite a fair bit. I think the possession doesn't stick when it goes up front, or like, I know he like presses well and he runs in behind, but I think when the ball was going up to him, we weren't at the ball with doesn't stick as well as it does with Canberra, and I think that's one thing that I noticed. But
then, like Stephen said, that's maybe why you play him with like the likes of Canberra, or even Ollie Shaw, who's quite good at that, who can hold up the ball. But yeah, anyway, so the exciting bit now, talking about who we're going to bring in. So, going through position by position, is anybody wanting to bring in a goalkeeper? And if so, have they got any names they want to bring in? Or do you think we should just bring in a third goalkeeper anyway? Or do you think now that Jabowski is a year older, he's able to be a third choice keeper with Laidlaw coming back from injury?
You've got two good goalkeepers in under-20s with Paddy Martin and Dabrowski. You've got Laidlaw coming back for injury, and Marciano, I can't see him going, so I would keep it the way it is. You've got four keepers there that are all talented.
Dave?
Keep it the way it is. Marciano just needs to improve his kicking, that's about it.
Good stuff. Defence then. What areas of defence he's looking to bring in?
Possibly a right back. The thing with
I've got two right backs.
The thing with a left back is it's pointless. I mean, we've done it season after season after season now. We've brought on a lone player. We've brought in Eckersley for Hearts. We brought in Reras last season for Hearts. you just basically bring in somebody in case Lewis Stevenson breaks a leg, and it never happens. Like,
But what if it does?
you got Hamlin to push to left back.
Aye.
There's no reason for it because it's just a waste of wages to me.
Mm.
I mean, the last 3 left backs that we've brought in on loan, they've not even touched the ball in the first team.
I think that was the thinking between bringing Whittaker in because he can play on both sides, and I think that's why he might be kept around.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so specifically, what players he's looking? What, you got any names that you'd like to see him come in?
For
Defence.
Nah, because I'm quite happy, like, with Porteous coming through and Ben Sterling. And apart from him, I would probably cover the right back position. But again, that's what I said to you before we started. It's like, I've not got a name for you.
Right.
Which one of them?
Stephen?
I'm not too sure. Like, is that Richard Tate from Motherwell? Is he a right back?
Aye, can play that.
I'd maybe say him, like, all the defenders in the team in the Premier League that we could afford.
Right.
I'd probably say him.
So I've got 2 names. I've done a bit of digging and stuff. We were linked with Ryan Williamson in January, plays for Dunfermline, and his contract expires. So he's a free agent. Only 22, I think. So potentially, I'd look at bringing him in. The other one is Liam Palmer of Sheffield Wednesday. We're talking about a bigger budget. We'd probably need to spend maybe 100 grand or whatever on him. He was Player of the Year at Sheffield Wednesday like 4 years ago or whatever. But he's fallen a bit out of favour. Only played 5 games last season in the league. He's got a year left in his deal, but he's 26 now. He has been in the Scotland setup before. Coming up to Scotland could be maybe give him the platform to get into the Scotland setup. It's a problem position right back for Scotland, so yeah, well, I've went for Liam Palmer. I think he can play in midfield as well, versatile, good going forward. So would fit the back 5 formation as well.
I like your ambition though, Gav.
Aye.
You're doing the right thing, to be fair, and you're going outside like to the Championship and that, and fair play. Like I'd bring Colker for Dundee as a centre back.
Well, they turned down 2.5 million for him, so I can't see him coming.
It's a possibility.
I'm no wasting. If we do sell him again, I'm not wasting the McGinn money on Cocker. Okay, midfield. Then
Obviously, we've been linked with Stevie Mallon.
yeah,
Take him in a heartbeat, an
Mhm.
absolute heartbeat.
I've got Stevie Mallon. Stephen.
I've got Malin too.
Yeah.
If we do lose McGinn and McGeoch, perfect replacement would be Malumbu for me.
Interesting.
I'd say he plays the Bartley role, but he also pushes forward as well, and he's got the build, he's got pace still. He's got Premier League experience, and I mean he ran the show in midfield for Kilmarnock pretty much all season.
Oh, he was phenomenal. A couple
We
of
said
games
that,
last season, he was so good.
The 2 games at Easter Road, like he basically come on the second game and ran us off the park.
Aye.
Like, he's
He calms everything down and just, it's like an enforcer, but he's good with the ball, his feet, and I would take him in a heartbeat again. It's like, how big is that budget? Because I think it's quite weird saying that, like signing somebody for Kilmarnock, but that's going to.
He's proven himself in
aye.
competition
Like-
for Rangers and that.
Aye.
I think Rangers could go for him.
You could pick up like 6 or 7 players for Kilmarnock this season.
Yeah, I know.
You've got that left back Stephen O'Donnell. You've got Gary Dicker, who played alright in centre back. You've got Jordan Jones, who's obviously one of the midfielders that I would take in a heartbeat. Even
Power got their player of the year. So it was Alan Power. Yeah, and a lot of people were quite surprised it wasn't Boyd, but you speak to a Kilmarnock fan. This was the Terrace podcast I was listening, and they were saying that like they were quite surprised, but one of them was speaking to a Kilmarnock fan. They're like, nah, the job he does in the middle of the park, he's just,
That's like all else though, like an outsider would like
how's it
straight
going
away
again?
hit McGinn, and they'd be
Aye.
like, well, if you go to Easter Road every week, you realise McGeoch's what keeps us ticking.
And that's why on my midfield list, I know I've already mentioned I'd bring in Malin, but the first name on my list is Dylan McGeoch.
Aye, but that's the thing is like
Re-sign him. That's my first signing for midfield. Dylan McGeoch.
Aye, McGeoch, that's what you've got to spend a lot of that budget on. Gain McGinn a new contract, or just putting something on the table, and then Scott Allen, he's going to be on a wage at Celtic. Gain him something attractive. He wants to come back anyway, but they 3 is what I would spend a lot of my budget on, and I know that's no new signings, but at the end of the day, they three worked a treat for February onwards, and then that's when we had our best run. You know what I mean?
Any other midfielder names you've got?
Left winger, obviously Jones.
Jones?
100%. And if
How much are we going to have to pay for him though?
1.5. I'd
Not
say,
a chance.
I'd say 1.5.
Not a chance.
Peachy's just had a heart attack.
I nearly had one. It's not even my money. We're not spending 1.5. I'm telling you, the most we'll spend on a player is like 300 grand.
Well, I've got one here that this came from Twitter. Jesus Gallardo from Pumas. Apparently Hibs have been looking at him, a Mexican player. £750,000 Hibs have been linked with him for.
I can't see it, Gav.
He's a 72 on FIFA.
Is he?
Aye.
Oof.
Oofed. So my suggestion is, I should have said this earlier. Sell John McGinn to Celtic for, I'll say, £3.5 million plus Scott Allen and Ryan Christie, and get the two of them in exchange, and then use some of that money to go sign Jesus Gallardo, getting Dylan McGeoch and Stevie Mallon.
No.
There's your midfield.
If you think that Celtic are going to pay £3.5 million plus Ryan Christie and Scott Allen, there's no chance.
Here's my counter back to you.
Okay.
John McGinn to Celtic.
Right.
We get Scott Allen plus £2.5 million, and we get McGinn back for a year. Ryan Christie. So we get McGinn,
No,
Allen.
I'd rather get Ryan Christie on like a 3 or 4 year deal.
Nah, I'd quite happily just have another year to Allen, McGeoch and McGinn and just enjoy myself. That was good.
Interesting.
It just ended too soon.
So, Stephen, any other midfielders in? Is that you?
No, that's about it.
Okay, forwards then. What we're thinking for up front. Obviously, Stephen, you've already said Canberry. I'm saying Canberry. Dave?
Canberry,
Aye.
but Adam Rooney.
Oh,
He was on
interesting.
my list. I'm actually raging because that was on the tip of my tongue before you says, "Oh, I've said Canberra, you said Canberra."
Because
Adam Rooney.
Canberry does a lot of the work.
Uh-huh.
Kind of similar to Simon Murray. He does run about, press a lot. He can finish and he can hold the ball up better than Simon Murray, right? But then you've got Adam Rooney comes in, physical type. I just think that'd probably be quite a good match.
Plus
Doesn't
he
get a
can
game
score
at
from
Aberdeen.
outside the box too.
Nah, he's a good finisher on that. I think he's better than Stevie May personally.
100%.
Stevie May had a stinker, and Adam Rooney still didn't get a chance. So
Yeah.
I think his time at Aberdeen's probably up, and I would take him.
We were linked to him last year, so maybe not out with the realms of possibility. Stephen, any other forwards?
There's a boy that plays in the Arsenal under 23s,
Right.
Eddie Nketiah.
Okay.
13 goals in 12 appearances last season, and he's been under 23s like player of the year for the last 3 years or something at Arsenal. Plus we've had experience going for like youth players. We took Watmore for Sunderland, had Stokes while he was at Sunderland and stuff like
Coming straight from Arsenal, we had Dean Shields and Sam
exactly.
Morrow.
So,
one
I
of
mean-
them worked out.
So-
Sam Morrow's a great player.
but no, and I think that with Emery coming in there as well, he'll be looking to. I think there'll be a lot more focus on the Scottish Premier League this season, and this is the only benefit I think with Gerrard, that his first season in Scotland, all the managers down in England, they'll be watching him, and they'll be looking to put players against him.
So out on loan.
So a year alone.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully. The only other players I've got is O'Halloran from Rangers. Apparently going to get his contract terminated at Rangers, so I think we should get in there and get him.
Yeah, I would take a Holland.
As much as I love Boyle, I think he's more of a finished product than Boyle is. I think
He's got a few years on him too, though.
Yeah.
I would not. I would get a Holland, but I wouldn't drop Boyle. Boyle's like my most improved player.
Yeah,
Absolutely love him. Exciting.
but
Oh, we've not even mentioned Brandon Barker. I want Barker back.
do you?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
You did
who.
have an
That's who
opportunity,
we'll.
but-
That's who we'll get. And then Stephen, I'm sorry, Jordan Jones is not happening, mate. You've got Barker, and we get to keep the song.
Aye.
That's it. That's what it's all about.
And then I've got an F here because it's too many players I've mentioned. Plus, I don't know if we need another striker. If we keep Simon Murray, then we've got Ollie Shaw and Canberra. I don't know. Maybe we would need another striker. He's been linked a lot. Kenny Miller. What do you think?
Nope. I'm alright.
No chance.
Want to progress? Sorry.
I'd bring him as a coach. I wouldn't let him step foot on the park, but I would bring him in as a coach.
So thinking about your lineups then, going through who you've decided to bring in, what's your starting lineup next season then?
Honestly, wouldn't change that much because I think it worked so well. Like at the end of the year, and I think if we can get McGeoch, Allen, and even if we lose McGinn, I'll bring in Slivka.
Remember, it's not if we can. It's you're the manager.
Right,
this is what you've done.
Right,
so
and
what have you done?
We sell McGinn to Celtic and then get him loaned back for a year.
Okay.
Boom. What a deal that is, by the way.
Right, and you've got Scott Allen as part of that deal as well.
Yep.
Okay, so
and then left Brandon Barker. I know. I don't know.
Left Brandon Barker, right Boyle.
Aye, but then and then Canberra up top me in with Allen in behind him, and then
McGeoch came again.
McGeoch McGinn, Stevenson left back. No, I should have started at the start there. Start for keeper forward.
That's normally what managers do.
How many players have we got left? Because started in the middle and then started just.
So goalkeeper Marciano.
Yes.
So you're going with a back four or a back five?
5.
All right. So Barker isn't playing then.
Nope.
He's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
Right. So Boyle right wing back then.
Yep. Stevenson left wing back.
Centre backs Porteous, Ambrose, and Hanlon from what you were talking about earlier on.
Correct.
McGeoch and McGinn.
Correct.
And then Scott Allen behind Canberra and
Adam Rooney.
So you've got one new signing in your lineup.
I didn't want loads
progression.
I didn't want loads of change.
No point in having Stevie.
What's it? Wait, can I ask where you progress for that record we had for January onwards?
Stevie Mallon.
We're top of the league for January onwards. What do you want to change? Tie it down for longer, and then see if we can do it. And then I bring in the likes of Stevie Mallon, like Adam Rooney, bring through Porteous, bring through Ben Sterling, maybe get backup position players. But I think we've got such a good team in the way we're playing in that. I wouldn't change. I wouldn't tinker with it too much.
Fair enough. Stephen, goalkeeper.
Marciano.
Back 4 or back 5?
Say 4, I think. It'll go with Stevenson, Porteous, Hanlon, and Ambrose.
Right.
4 midfield.
So you've got Ambrose playing right back?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
4 midfield, you'd have Jones.
Jordan Jones, right?
Mulumbu,
Okay.
Allen, and Boyle, and then Canberra and Rooney up front.
So you as a manager have lost McGinn and
There's no way
McGeoch.
no way. There is no way that we're getting A2 next season.
But you're trying to do the best bit of business you can. I honestly think it's realistic that we get McGinn loaned back to us if he goes to Celtic.
Okay.
No chance.
I think that's realistic.
It's not.
Because they'll keep Cham and Brown, and then they've got McGregor, they've got Armstrong, Rogic.
They've also got Beaton, who is also linked with with us as part of the McGinn deal.
This is my problem about the whole
I would
Celtic.
take that.
The whole no bother Beaton.
Hammond Beaton.
The only thing is that if McGinn goes to Celtic, he's not got to play, and what's the point?
I guess
get us loaned back.
That's what there was a boy in the Daily
next
Records made an argument for that. A Celtic blogger saying why we try to sign him when Scott Brown and Nicham are ahead of him.
And they're already saying that Scott Brown's got to sign on a 3-year deal. But McGinn's not got to play. And what's the point in him going there when he can go to a Championship or a low Premier League?
But if Celtic can tie him down because he's only got a year left in his contract by giving us a relatively small amount of money considering what I think McGinn's worth, plus getting Scott Allen out the road as part of the deal to maybe soften the blow about how much money they give us, and then we get him back, he's got another year to try and progress, and I don't even think he needs much more.
I know.
And then Brown's a year older, and Cham might move on because I think he's some player.
Now I agree with Stephen that I don't want to see, and I don't think he should. I don't think for his career, I don't think McGinn should go to Celtic. But in terms of my wee dealings here, I need them to go to Celtic. So I've went for Marciano in goals, Palmer at right back with Ambrose and Hanlon at centre back with Stevenson at left back, McGeoch in midfield alongside Gallardo, and either O'Halloran or Ryan Christie on the right, and then Scott Allen behind and in the middle, and Mallon on the left, and then Canberra up top.
So you've not got Martin Boyle in there?
No, he's on my bench, coming off the bench. That pace off the bench.
Nah.
And if Christie plays, then
there's
O'Halloran on the bench as well.
There's too much changes there, chemistry wise. I know I've went
Need
total.
to move forward.
I've
Fresh faces.
No, we don't need fresh faces. We didn't. We got loads of fresh faces in January and it worked. So get the fresh
and
faces
now
back.
all the fresh faces are
Look
out.
at, like,
No, but get them back. Try and get them back. That would be my biggest priority.
the amount I mentioned Chelsea, folk are going to think I'm a Chelsea fan, but you look at Chelsea last season, they won the league, and then they brought in hardly anybody. They swapped Matic for, what's his name, Bakayoko, and that was about it. They stayed where they were, and they ended up 6th or 5th this season, whereas everyone else, like Man City and that, went out and strengthened, and it was like, oh, but he's actually quite good. It doesn't matter, this boy's even better, and they strengthened in each position.
The thing that annoys me about this whole like pretend scenario, right, is the fact that like all of us have says Canberra. Why would we not go for McLaren if we could go for whoever we wanted or we had this massive budget? Why would none of us go for McLaren?
I think it'd be too much. I think the German, like, the fee would be too much.
I can't see it. A team that just barely scraped relegation into the League 3 or whatever the f it is.
I mean, I guess he's got a year left in his contract.
Depends if he plays at World Cup, because I know he's been called back up.
Yeah,
if he plays at World Cup, then I think his value will be priced out.
He's still in the provisional squad. David know this if you watched the news video.
I've been at work.
I was at work and I still saw it.
But I actually do some work.
He's in the provisional. It's either 26 or 27 man squad, and that's going to be cut to 23 after the friendly against Czech Republic. So, he still might not go to Russia. We'll have to wait and see.
But I would have McLaren back happily.
Yeah, just still saving money.
All fun and games, isn't it? But the annoying thing is how frustrating is the transfer one day.
I know.
That all you talk about, and that it's like for ages. It's just
It's
something to talk about.
Still not even started yet.
I know, and here we are.
So do we think, talking about the transfer window opening on the 1st, do we think the rumours that those strips will be unveiled on the 1st? Do you think that's going to be the case Friday?
Yeah, well, if that is the case, then I hope it's 2 players that we had on loan modelling the kits. Signing your deal.
Alan and Canberra.
I'll be happy with Alan, Canberra or McGeoch. 2 of the 3, McGeoch being.
But Stephen pointed
this out. Has McGeoch just got to fly back from Mexico for a?
He could have got his 40 afore he went, Stephen.
He's not got to sign a new deal.
I mean, he didn't need to be in Scotland to wear a Hibs strip.
He's just sitting in the Mexico, like the Azteca Stadium.
Well, he could have got his 40 afore he went. That's probably not going to happen. It probably will be Canberra and Allen, and then we just need to give all the budget to McGeoch. Oh yeah. Game it.
Okay.
I would.
Nah.
I wouldn't even take another player if we could guarantee McGeoch. I wouldn't.
So then that means that my squad's probably looking better than what used to.
No,
used to go signing like 6 players.
Well, you've got McGinn going to Celtic and then coming back for a year.
Because that would be the best deal since.
How? He still means he's a Celtic player.
I know, but we're not going to get to keep him anyway, and I didn't care who he goes to after us. I didn't particularly think he should go to Celtic either, but I'm not his agent. I'm just being selfish. I want McGinn for another year. So I can't see it happening.
I don't believe you though. You just said I don't care who he goes to.
No.
So Celtic offer 4 million and Rangers offer 5 million. Where do you want him to?
He better go to Celtic.
So we have teamed up with Casuals Attire. You can find them at Casuals Attire on Twitter and Facebook, or their website is casualsattire.bigcartel.com. They are teaming up with us and offering the competition winner a custom-made 5 times 3-foot flag. In order to be in a chance with winning this flag, what you need to do is make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and then comment below saying what 3 ins you would do this summer. And I mean, we're looking for fresh players, so if somebody was just to say Canberry, Allen and McLaren, you know, everyone's going to say that. So try and be as original as possible, and the comment that gets the most likes will be the one that gets the free flag. So we'll put this podcast onto YouTube, so if you find it there, give us a subscribe and comment below with what 3 players you want to see us go out and get. It can be 3 players from the Scottish Premiership, 3 players from the English Championship. So please check out the video on YouTube, and best of luck. And make sure you head over to Casuals Attire's website, that's casualsattire.bigcartel.com, to find loads of Hibs products, including mugs, scarves, hats, t-shirts, the lot. How you doing today, Murray?
I'm not bad, mate.
Good. Okay, so as I kind of said before we start recording, McGeoch is coming to the end of his contract. Cammy Bell has been released, and Rieres, Barker, Scott Allen, McLaren and Canberry have all came to the end of their loans. So with that in mind, is there anybody else that you would be looking to either release or tell that they're free to find a new club?
Well, see, I have to say, I mean, as I says the other day in a discussion, you know, I don't really want to let any more people go for the Hibs start and the Hibs team, because I just think right now, I think we're a wee bit thin. But if I had to be really, really nippy about releasing somebody, I would actually probably say to the likes of Danny Swanson, you know, go and find yourself another club, because for whatever reason, it's just no seem to work for him at Hibs. I don't know. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on in his personal life just now, and obviously that's affected him. But I just think there's been times where he's been on the pitch and he's not really grasped the opportunity that he's been given. So maybe I'm just being really, really nippy in that sense. But for the rest of the team there, I really wouldn't let anybody else go. For a rumour that I've heard today as well, actually there's meant to be an East Asian team that's actually coming in for Effie Ambrose as well. And apparently they're meant to be offering big money for him. So I'd probably be alright with letting Effie go, because then that means that we've got a team, another player there at right back, and then that means David Gray could probably come back into that team as well. I'm obviously a big fan of David Gray, no for the obvious, but...
So you've said there about Effie Ambrose and potentially money coming in for him. So you're saying there you'd take advantage of that and get the money. Is there any other players you'd look to sell? I mean, there's been interest in Marciano, interest in McGinn, Simon Murray. Both Dundee clubs have been interested in him.
Yeah.
Any other players?
No, I have to be honest. I mean, I think the way that the team is just now, I have to be honest, I want to see how Murray gets on for another season. Because I did feel sorry for Simon Murray, obviously getting put on loan. When he had a wee bit of form at Hibs, it has to be said, I think he scored 14, 15 goals in his wee time at Hibs, and he looked to be a no bad player at one point, and then he got put on loan, and I didn't think he's scored a lot of goals since. So I think Lenny still likes him, to be honest, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I don't think he's finished at Hibs yet. And to be honest, I wouldn't let anybody else go in that team just now.
So you're keeping again, and you're keeping Marciano.
Yeah, completely.
Okay, so talking about Marciano there, goalkeeper wise, that would leave Marciano, Laidlaw, Dabrowski, who's a year older, and Martin, I think this other youth goalkeeper's name. Is there would you look to bring in a third choice goalkeeper with Cammy Bell being released, or do you think Dabrowski being a year older can make the step up?
I think the young laddie for the under-20s can make the step up. I've been along to a couple of under-20s games, and he looks really reassured. You know, I think just the simple things he does quite well. He's quite vocal, I think, anyway, from what I've seen. You know, he's constantly talking throughout the game, and that's quite positive in my eyes. I wouldn't look to bring in another goalkeeper, no.
Okay, moving on to defence. You've said about Effie going, who obviously played a lot of games at right back as well as centre back. You've said about David Gray coming back into the team. So you're looking to bring in a right back or a centre back or somebody that can play both, or both positions?
Well, I think if I'm going to be really nippy here, I would actually probably say that we need to bring in another centre back. We need to bring in somebody who is, I would actually say, to the place Darren McGregor, because I think, no disrespect to Daz, I think he's absolutely lovely guy. I think he's a brilliant player, but I just think he's just Father Time's catching up with him a wee bit now. So is it a case of is he going to stay on at Hibs and just be a sub now and again, or will Lenny just say to him that that's it? I don't know, but you could argue that because obviously we've got that young Ryan Porteous coming in through the youth team. He'll easily, in my eyes, be able to make the step up. So could we just go for the inside or go and sign somebody else? I don't know, but I think no matter what way we look at it, I think we'll get a quality player in there for sure.
So moving into the midfield, what about Dylan McGeoch to start off with? Are you hopeful that we could get him back? Is he part of your, is him re-signing one of your midfield signings, or are you accepting the fact that he's moving on and looking to bring in somebody else?
See, I think you can look at it again. You can look at that two ways. I think before the last game of the season against Rangers, I think we were all pretty much consigned to losing him. And the stories that I heard is he had signed a deal for Blackburn, and that for me I thought was done and dusted. But obviously now Lenny said that there's, and to quote Neil Lennon, he's turning and said there's a wee chinky light in the armour that that he could sign another deal. So it's driving fans nuts actually thinking if he's going to sign another deal or not. I would love to see him stay. I really rate Dylan McGeoch. I think he's an absolutely quality player. I would love him to stay. But failing that, if he does go, are we going to bring somebody else in? Obviously, we've all heard about Stephen Allen coming in for Hibs as a direct replacement. Well, I have heard, obviously, we're meant to be getting someone else in from Grasshoppers. I think his name's Packett or something like that. I don't know, but I know that he's a defensive midfielder. So hopefully, we'll get somebody else in as well, because I do think we're a wee bit spread a wee bit thin in midfield. But obviously Scott Allen will be in there. That's going to be a huge miss. He's spoken about the fact that his preferred option is to go back to Hibs. He's clearly not wanted at Celtic. Is he going to be a bargaining chip for John McGinn as well? We're just going to have to wait and see on that, unfortunately.
So yeah, I mean, so you're the manager. Who you're Lennon? You're sort of booking this year. Who are you bringing in for the midfield then?
Well, again, if we could get the guy in for Grasshoppers, I think that would be a positive. Obviously, we're getting Flo in there. We showed how good a player Flo is. Is he, is this guy in a similar cut? Is he going to be a bit further up the table? I don't know. But again, I'd like to bring Stephen Allen in. And I've actually heard this one. I think it's going to be a bit controversial here, but I've heard that the boy that used to play for Hearts, what's his name? Matt Boabin. Boabin, is that his name? Aye.
Prince Boabin.
Prince Boabin. I've heard Hibs are meant to be trying to sign him as well. That might just, I think that might be complete hearsay. I've not got an actual concrete source on that. But to be honest, I actually always rated him for his time at Dundee United, and I always felt he was a really tidy midfielder at Hearts as well. He was always quite a solid performer, so he might be a decent shout. The fact that he plays for Hearts doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I don't really care if he comes from Hearts over to Hibs. It doesn't matter to me. He's playing for Hibs now, so that's fine for me.
So are you, if you're the manager, are you spending money to make sure you get Scott Allen back to the club? Even if it's like 100 grand, completely. 150 grand or whatever, you're spending money to get him back.
Yeah, okay. Completely.
And the forwards?
Well, obviously, the chat recently is the fact that we've got Flo coming back in on a 3-year deal, from what I'm hearing. He has to, in my opinion, out of the two strikers we had last season between Flo and McLaren, I just thought Flo edged it because he was... he's a big, strong, physical guy. The Scottish game really suits him. He likes the physical aspect of it. He can score a goal. And he's actually a player that I think Simon Murray will feed off quite a lot as well. So, yeah, Flo's got to be a player that I think we've got to bring back in. If we could get McLaren back in, that would be fantastic. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Right, so he's out your budget. then what about the money you got left? Is there any wingers or strikers you're looking to bring in to kind of complete your team? We've been linked with O'Halloran, Kenny Miller, Kane Hemmings. We've been linked with Kane Hemmings as well. Are you looking at bringing any of them?
Yeah, I would take Kane Herons, yeah, because again he's quite a goal threat as well. So I would take Kane Herons coming through, and who was the other boy that you mentioned there?
O'Halloran and Kenny Miller.
I wouldn't take Kenny Miller, to be honest.
So what was talking about everything we've kind of went through there? What's your team lining up for next season then? So Marciano in goals.
Marciano in goals, David Gray at right back, Lewis Stevenson left back, Paul Hanlon, and another centre back. Midfield four, again, hopefully McGeoch, McGinn, and having the two wide players out. Maybe having that O'Halloran out on the left-hand side and Boyle on the right.
Okay.
And then bearing in mind as well, hopefully we'll get Scott Allen back in that team as well. And then my two up top would be Flo and Murray.
Okay. So is Scott Allen playing instead of one of the wingers, or is he on the bench?
Oh no, actually I take that back. I'll put O'Halloran on the bench and bring Scott Allen back in and move Dylan McGeoch over to the left. Aye, that's what I'll do.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds interesting. So I can say from what the three of us said earlier on to the team you've got, it's all really different, which is nice, which is good. So we'll be able to see what people think and see whose team's the best. When I know it's mine, my team's the best. I'm gonna win. Right, okay. Thank you for taking the time to come on, Murray. Okay.
Right, no problems, guys. Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. Thanks again for listening, folks. Make sure you find us on all the social medias. Just search at HFC Talk on the likes of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And remember to head over to our YouTube channel. Find this podcast on YouTube, and if you subscribe and leave a comment, what three players you'd like to see brought in this window, you could be my chance of winning a custom flag from Casuals Attire. Hope you enjoyed the video, folks. Click on my face to subscribe, click here to check out Murray's channel, and click here roughly for the last podcast.